about Zarif Design. What led you to start it? What is the story of the foundation of this wonderful effort?
Thank you, Zainab, for being with us and being the link between all of us. Thank you all for being here tonight. And I would like to extend my great, deepest gratitude to Diane and Deepak on their teams. It's just a dream is too much. It's so important for me tonight to have, Afghanistan is really on a very challenging time, but to have this gathering and being able to transcend these challenges, but through beauty and seeing the power of creativity. So thank you for hosting and creating that space to showcase their work, which express the resilience and the courage. That's what we're celebrating tonight. So thank you, Diane and Deepak. Just briefly to give a background, because I think it's important. I am from Afghanistan, and I was part of the first wave of refugees in 1979. And lucky enough, I was we fled for Switzerland, where I studied architecture, very privileged, and came to New York to practice architecture with my husband. I was here, who has been supporting this venture since many years. On being in New York, practicing architecture, I really felt that need to connect back to my roots. And somehow architecture lead me, on my education lead me to create this foundation, this non-for-profit School of Hope with a group of young Afghan that I met in New York as a way to give back. The reason I'm telling this story that somehow in 2000, it was a very similar situation. What really helped us to make this connection is our hope. The situation was under the Taliban. It was a situation, there was no, education was not allowed. But despite all of that, our hope as a group, as a community, led me to go back to Afghanistan. So very quickly in 2001, as you all know, things changed drastically. I went back to Afghanistan. While education is a pillar of a society, higher education is the future of the new generation, I really felt that the necessity to build skills, because unfortunately not many Afghans have access to education, especially in the provinces. I was supporting a school in the provinces, and from 4,000, only 12 students were able to go to university. And throughout my studies of architecture, I was inspired by the movement of the Bauhaus. I feel like creativity could become a vehicle to not only build a society, but to also heal within, to become, to regain a sense of identity, a sense of value, a self-esteem. So therefore, to build up, to invest into the skill building was something that really inspired me. Everything was out there. I mean, I think I did not create anything new. I was just inspired what was already there. And the textile became the vehicle for that. Not only the textile as a way to connect us to our past, to the Silk Road, this trade that connects culture and becomes a vehicle for art and music and everything, but also as a way to connect communities within the country, from weaver to tailors to embroiderers. So I just, that's the way Zarif has started.
It's beautiful. And I had the pleasure of working in Afghanistan for about a decade, and it's a gorgeous country, and I credit Afghan women for teaching me a lot of tips on beauty, actually, including clearing the hair in my head and all of these things. But I mean, there's such an elegant culture and cuisine and designs that is barely talked about, actually. And what I like about what you're doing is you bring it to life. Talking about art and culture, Diane, I want to ask you about the role of that in keeping hope going. My mother, who was from Iraq, used to tell me that when the artist dies, all else dies. The artists keep the last frontier of resistance, of the story, of the beauty going. I worked in war zones with women who made sure that they wear lipstick and their best clothes as they go out. And their logic was because we want that sniper to know before he kills us that he's killing a beautiful woman. You have a unique understanding between resistance, culture, and the beauty and the importance of beauty through art and through design and different ways. Can you speak more about that?
Wow. Well, today, you know, it happens to all of us. Today, for some reason, I'm overwhelmed. I just had so many things happening, and I'm here, and I'm saying, what am I supposed to do? And there's a lady I don't know, and she just came to say hello to me, and she said, you're wonderful. I said, why? And she says, because you make things happen. And I think the thing that everyone in this room has is that we want to make things happen. And that energy, the energy of, you were talking about the light, the energy of finding the tiny little bit of light and building around the light and cherishing the light and growing the light and sharing the light is so important, because no matter how dark it is, it's always the light that pushes the darkness away. So when things got really bad in Afghanistan in summer 21, right? I went to bed, I was on the boat, and I went to bed and I was so upset. And I went to bed thinking, oh, we need a United Nations for women. And then I woke up and I said, wait a minute, we have a United Nations for women, Vital Voices. And this organization, which is an amazing network, an amazing population of badass women around the world, we managed to get 1,300 women out of Afghanistan. And some of them have become my friends. And because it's one thing to be, you know, and we try to get a lot of the women out of Afghanistan that were intelligent and leaders, because if we bring the leaders out, we can, you know, they can create a resistance and one day they can go back. And you know, Mukadesha, for example, she's become a friend, but it's tough. You leave everything back there, and you know, and you were a minister of commerce, and you were a big deal, and now all of a sudden you're a refugee and you have no one and nothing, and you have to start all over, and you teach in a university, and those stupid students, not that they're stupid, but they don't know anything about, and you have to rehash the same thing over and over. It's tough, you know, it's tough. And I remember one day I went downstairs in the garage, and I saw that I had these rugs in the garage, so I called Mukadesh. I said, you need rugs, you're from Afghanistan. So I sent her the rugs, you know. And so it's important to make a chain of love. It is very hard. We live in a terrible, terrible world right now. And Afghanistan is, I mean, it's just horrible, the situation for women. And then I met you, and I met this organization. And in every one of these beautiful society, you have to think that many women worked in one, embroidering in one. And the energy that went into every stitch is the energy that we have to carry and we have to share. So if you buy any of these beautiful things, you will bring money to the organization, but you will also carry the energy of resistance and the energy of believing, and that is really important.
I have to say, you know, as a proud member of Vital Voices, that was one of the most amazing experiences of my life. It was an experience, a demonstration of the unity of women. Some we knew each other, some we did not know each other. Raised our own money, charted our own place, negotiated the exit of women leaders, and managed to get them to Albania. It was an action movie